Welcome to Mattside, Minnesota, your ultimate source for high school wrestling in central and northern Minnesota. I'm Chris Hetzler, alongside co-host Eric Holst. Each week, we'll bring you in-depth recaps of the biggest matchups, exclusive interviews with coaches and athletes, and insider analysis you won't find anywhere else. Plus, we'll feature a spotlight story that every wrestling fan will want to hear. Whether you're a competitor, coach, or a die-hard fan, you're in the right place. Let's go Mattside. Well, we're back for episode 2. What do you got on tap for us today, Derek?
Today, we sit down with two coaches at the start of their head coaching journey. Holdingford's Jamey Koetter and Minnewaska's Tate Card. Both are first-year leaders taking over programs with passion, purpose, and a whole lot of excitement for what's ahead.
All right, well, let's jump right into Coach Koetter from Holdingford.
Today, we're heading into Husker country as we sit down with the new head wrestling coach at Holdingford. Welcome, Coach Jamey Koetter.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on.
I'm glad you can make it, and thanks for bearing with us on a little of the technical difficulties here. So,
we're all good.
I think Chris is in charge of that.
Yeah, well, you got to wonder sometimes.
Yeah, well.
We'll jump right into it, Jamie. Just maybe tell us a little bit about yourself.
I guess I'm an alumni here in Husker country. I graduated from Holdingford back in 2015. I wrestled all through high school under Coach O'Lean, who's now the new head coach down in Canby. And I'm a big outdoorsman. I love to hunt and fish. And obviously in the wintertime, I got to mix a little bit of ice fishing in with the wrestling season as much as we can. But other than that, anything outdoors, anything that involves wrestling is pretty much where all my time goes. And then my lovely girlfriend who gets the rest of it.
All right. Awesome. Well, that's good stuff. So what kind of led you into taking the head coaching role?
I guess there's a bunch of different factors. Obviously, starting out when Logan stepped down and he got an opportunity to head back home and coach his hometown program, it kind of left a little bit of a vacancy and a void in here. And I know his wishes were to express that one of his past alumni or one of us coaches on staff were going to step up, and it took a lot of time and a lot of different conversations, and it took a little bit longer than I think everybody thought it would take to kind of become the head coach. But after a while, we've built a pretty good program here, obviously, in the last 9 to 10 years here, and it's just something I couldn't step away from or step back from, and I just decided I'm going to take the next step up here. I'm going to try to grow up and mature up a little bit here and accept the responsibilities of being the head coach and all the fun and all the negativity that comes with it.
Sure. So did you know for a while that Coach O'Lean was going to step down, or were you a little bit blindsided by it, or what was the?
It was a little bit of a surprise. We were just actually at his wedding together down in Mexico about 3-4 weeks before it was announced and whatnot, and we didn't really know then. It was just kind of a spur of the moment. He got an opportunity, and it's something me and him have talked about for a long time too, that, if he does get that opportunity one day, we didn't know if it was going to be this year, 5 years, 10 years down the road, but it is something that he's dreamed of and something that he wanted to pursue. And I'm glad he gets the opportunity to go home, be with his family, and coach Canby, and gets to do everything that he dreamed of.
Absolutely.
Well, and, can you, as a new head coach, to step in the situation, to have the team that you have, the seniors that you have, just that experience, there's probably, I'm looking at it thinking maybe a little bit of pressure on you from, that standpoint, but to have that senior leadership is also maybe something, helpful for you.
It's absolutely huge. Like, obviously there is a lot of pressure with this program. We were a great team last year. We graduated a few studs, but we return a lot of talent and a lot of studs to our lineup again this year. And I'm going to rely on these seniors as much as they're going to rely on me. It's going to be a growth for all of us here. We're all going to have to step up, do things a little bit differently now with Coach O'Lean gone and all of us kind of exploring a couple new roles. But these kids are some great leaders. They're great athletes, and overall they're great human beings. And I know they're going to help me out every step of the way. there's going to be mistakes sometimes on my end as a coach, and I'm sure on the end of an athletes. But at the end of the day, we're all going to hold each other accountable, and we're all going to have some fun at the end of the day, and we're going to go out and try to win as much as we can.
Yeah, that's what wrestling's all about.
Yeah.
You bet.
Yeah. I guess with that, then, just a little bit, as far as that culture, so what kind of culture are you trying to, to build, or are you hoping to build in your wrestling room?
Basically, we want leaders of men has been a big thing that Coach Oline started back so Oline, I'll start backstory. Oline was my coach my senior year of high school, and he really made the statement of fact of like, I'm not going to make you into anything unless you want to become a leader and become a man yourself. And that's what we want to be as leaders of men. We want these kids to go up past high school here, go into being great human beings, go into the workforce. Like, high school wrestling is awesome and we all want to win on the mat, but being bigger winners off the mat is just as important as winning on the mat to us.
Yeah, agree 100%. I think building wrestling builds good young men. You're right.
I don't think there's any sport that teaches the discipline like wrestling's taught. And I know I wouldn't be the person that I am today without the help of my past coaches in wrestling and all the dog days that I had as an athlete and even as a coach. Like, I honestly think wrestling and the discipline, it teaches you how to become a man, and not just any man. It teaches you how to become a good man.
Yes, absolutely. And, and just thinking, and one of the things we were talking about, Derek and I, before we came on, just, as far as I guess, congratulations. I know it was kind of not the outcome that the Holdingford football team was expecting, but, that was a great season.
Absolutely great season.
It was fun to watch. And, it's interesting, you talk about those leaders and what wrestling teaches. And, last year, following, the Staples Motley team down there, your team this year, Jackson County Central, Chatfield, you look at the teams that are there, and even at the other classes too. So they're full of wrestlers. I kind of was telling Derek, I watched the Holdingford Goodhue, and that Jack Carlson, their heavyweight,
State finalist.
The one that no one could tackle, you said? I didn't watch the game, but Chris said that he was hard to bring down.
Carlson's a heck of an athlete. He's not just on the wrestling room, but in the football field too. Carlson is a great athlete.
Yeah, and that really came through. And again, I just kind of referring to that leadership and really what wrestling teaches you, not just on the athletic standpoint, but just who you are and what the perseverance that you have to
right.
learn there.
Most football coaches want their kids wrestling.
Yeah.
They really do.
That work ethic.
Yeah.
Well, just kind of maybe moving on. Was there any past traditions or just that Coach Oline had that you intend to keep, or you going to try to bring some new ones into the room?
I mean, we're exploring some new ones, but we definitely have our past traditions. A big thing with us is we like to have our youth team duels and our youth individual tournament in Holdingford, and we have a lot of the current wrestlers and then older alumni come back to partake as referees or scorekeepers and all of that, just kind of make sure it all becomes a community event. And so we really stress elementary tournaments. It's a big fundraiser for us. We also do a chili/soup feed at the end of the year each year where we allow all the community to come in. All the food is donated, and we kind of just have a end of the year potluck. We do all of our wrestling rewards down at a banquet center down in the middle of town, just so the whole town can kind of come together, support all these kids who've really grinded their butts off for the last 4 months in terms of chasing their goals, and just get a little bit of support. I'm hoping to eventually get a golf fundraiser to go on. I'd like to get a lot of past alumni and current wrestlers to join in on a golf tournament and get that going. So that's hopefully someone coming up in the next summer or two. Otherwise, just other traditions we do is we have a town cleanup days every year in Holdingford in the spring, and the whole wrestling team volunteers for that. So us coaches and all the athletes, we're in town, we're raking yards, picking up trash, doing whatever we can. It's a big thing to help out in the community, especially when you're a small town wrestling school. The community is everything. It's all the support that you have. So you really need to give back to the community as much as they give to us.
Right on. So what do you think the biggest change that you're hoping to bring? I mean, just like in the wrestling room, or I mean, anybody that's an assistant coach would probably, I'm gonna maybe change this when I'm the head coach. Is there anything that?
Not a whole lot of change. I think we've done a great job of building. I mean, there's going to be a little bit of technique changes, a little bit more emphasis on some scrambling and some other stuff, but for the most part, it's back to business as usual. We had a great year last year, but Staples still nipped us in the butt, and we think about that every day. Staples is going to have a heck of a team this year. They're beyond talented. They deserve the number one ranking in state, but we're not going to back down from them, and we're going to give them our best shot all year round. We are going to see them in the second week of the season. We're going to see them at the end of the season. We should duel them about 3 times this year. It's all about learning and adapting and overcoming some challenges, and that's kind of what wrestling is all about, is about overcoming adversity. And that's just something I'm going to really stress to these kids this year is nobody expects you guys to win it, so why not us?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Really don't have pressure on you. They're not expecting you to win. You're right. So you said you're going to see them the second week. Where are you going to see them at in the second week?
We should see them at the Howard Lake duels in Howard Lake
Oh,
December
yeah.
5th.
Okay.
We've gone there every year, and I do believe I see them on the invite list based on the emails I've been seeing. So keep that on your
Okay.
calendar.
And then probably in Bemidji again, or?
We are not at Bemidji this year, unfortunately, but we are going to see them at the Annandale duels at the end of the year with Zambroda, Wilmer, and I believe Becker, and one other school is going to be there too. So we should see them about a week before the section tournament as well.
Okay. All right. Well, we're kind of jumping around here to some of our other questions, but other than other than talking about Staples Motley, what are some of your key matches that you're looking forward to or looking at that'll give you good competition?
A couple duels wise, we're going to duel Piers at the end of the year in January. I know Piers is a double A school, but back when I was in high school, Piers and Holdingford was quite a big rivalry back in Section 7A and Single A. So one of my assistant coaches, Austin Dickman, he's an alumni of Piers, so we kind of batter back and forth. But we're really excited for a duel with Piers at the end of January. Otherwise, the Redwood River Riot, December 19th and 20th, big individual tournament down in Redwood. We've gone down there for like the past 7 years, and we love going down there. It gets us a chance to see some of those southern schools, those southern single A, double A schools, New Ulm, Marshall, a couple of those guys that we don't typically see with our northern-based schedule. After that, we are heading up to Rumble on the Red on New Year's Day, and we will be competing in the Rumble on the Red individual tournament. Last year was the first year we attended the Rumble, and honestly, it was an eye-opening experience. But man, it was a great tournament. It was well run. It's super fun up there. I can't wait to bring the kids back up there. And then we are also joining the East Ridge Ruckus tournament this year for the first time, and that is going to be, like I said, down in East Ridge. And I know St. Michael Albertville's there, or no, a bunch of the top AAA and some AA schools are going to be there. So we are going to get a well-versed competition throughout this year.
So the Rumble on the Red, do you bring the whole team up there, or?
Whole team, baby, JV and varsity. So we get running around all day, but it was awesome last year to be up there.
Obviously, you talked a little bit about growing young men, and so beyond wins and losses, how do you define success, or how do you see success beyond wins and losses?
Success to me, obviously, besides wins and losses, is I want wrestling is such a grind and it's such a grueling sport. But the reason we coach is for these athletes to enjoy their experience, and fun is a big thing to do with having good experiences, in my opinion. So a really big stress of mine is just, hey, we're gonna work hard, we're gonna work our tails off every single day, but that doesn't mean we can't smile, we can't have a little bit of fun. I know everybody gets a little bit crabby when we're doing some weight management, cutting around, and that's a big part of having a good team culture is you got to have those guys in the room that are going to bring a smile to your face. Those kids that just always find a way to loosen the mood, bring everybody up. Like that's my version of winning is like these kids are having fun. They're talking to each other on the wrestling bus. I don't want a bunch of kids just sitting on their phones all day, staring at a screen, not socializing with each other. Like having a team aspect and a team culture is huge to me. I want all these kids being best friends with each other because that's what it takes to be a team.
So who's the clown in the room?
Oh God, there's a few different ones. Honestly, they're honestly all clowns a little bit. Jackson Barkowitz is a big clown. Mason Patrick here and there. Honestly, Mason Litchie, our heavyweight, I've never seen this since the day I've known him. I've never seen him without a smile. Like he could be having the worst day in the world, and that kid will have a smile on his face.
Well, that's
Maverick
infectious.
Nowitzki's another one. A bunch of them. Wyatt Pilarski, he's the quietest kid ever during wrestling season. Like won't say a word because he's always watching his weight. He's real quiet. You catch that kid outside of wrestling season, nonstop talker. Will not shut up. It's such a 180, and it's so funny at the end of the year.
Yeah, let's. So do you? We were talking beforehand. Do you have girls wrestling?
We're trying. Yeah, we don't
Okay.
have any girls technically. We've had a few of them through our elementary program the last few years, but we have a great girls basketball program in Holdingford, so they get a lot of the numbers right now. But we are trying to start a girls team. We're recruiting as much as we can. We don't have any yet, but we're hoping to change that in the coming future.
Yeah. Well, with that, can I ask, is Holdingford a wrestling town or a basketball town?
50-50. We've
Okay.
changed it a lot more to a wrestling town in the last 10 years, but before that,
All
it was
right.
probably a
Well, yeah.
basketball town.
That just came to my mind.
Hey, it's a fair question. Class A schools got to fight with each other a little bit.
Well, so how many kids, roughly seven, is it 7 through 12 is what's in your
Yeah,
room?
7 through 12, and we're going to have between 38, 39, somewhere in there right now. And then
It's
our
solid.
elementary program, I think we had 73 on the first day of practice, which obviously those numbers dwindled down a little bit, but numbers-wise, we're sitting pretty good.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's all good.
But we'll have a
Uh,
big senior class leaving this year, though. So there's
yeah.
going to
So
be
with that strong senior leadership, what are your top goals for your underclassmen?
underclassmen. It's a lot about development now. I mean, we know what these seniors can be, and I'm going to look to these seniors to become leaders in their own right. These younger kids really look up to these older kids as honestly like big brothers. And part of being a big brother is keeping young kids honest. They need to understand the work it takes to get where they are. I mean, Jackson and Mason, both state finalists last year. One's a champ, one's a finalist. They're two of the hardest working kids in the room, and they had to go through their battles. They had to go through their struggles as seventh, eighth, and ninth graders. So a big thing we preach is just embrace the grind, guys, because wrestling, it's not an easy thing to do. You're gonna get your nose to the grindstone, and you just got to get better a little bit every day. So that's one of our shirts and our motto slogans is just be the 1%, get 1% better every day. We don't have to make big leaps, big changes, but like I said, those young kids, they just have to get a little bit better each day, and we're gonna meet our goals at the end of the year if that happens.
Can you share, maybe you got a dark horse that's in the room that is going to surprise some people, or a younger
I think
classman?
I mean, he's a senior for older wise for kind of a dark horse, but I think Mason Litchie at heavyweight is going to surprise a lot of people. He's going to look a little bit smaller than most of the traditional heavyweights, but he's a stud nose tackle in football. He's one of the hardest working kids in the room, and he finally got his chance last year to wrestle at sections, giving up about 40 pounds at heavyweight, and he placed fourth in the section, and I think he's going to open a lot of eyes this year. Sophomores Joel Tyson, Casey Canettle made some big steps last year. They qualified for the state tournament, and I think they're going to turn some eyes too this year, that they weren't just lucky to get down to the state tournament last year, that they're there to get a number behind their name this year.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to ask about those two. Again, following the section all season and watching those two wrestle up in Cass Lake, that was fun to see that progression through the season. And I do believe what you just said as far as that wasn't just that section is too good to just
Right.
sneak through.
Right.
Section 7 is a meat grinder, so it's half mental getting up there as well as it is physical. It's like, guys, you got to believe that you can win against anybody. If you don't believe that you can beat a certain person, then why are we here?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Pillager being new to the section, are you guys gonna see them at all, or?
I don't have them on the schedule yet. Obviously, I'd like to get them coming up here, but I didn't have them. Most of our schedule was made prior to me even becoming the head coach here, so we're just kind of filling in here and there on some of the stuff. But I'm super glad to hear that Pillager's got a program. We're gonna have I heard they have great numbers, and
They do. I think they're at 47, 7 through 12. Yeah, I was over in their room last night. They're super excited to have it. Coach Horn seems like he's going to be a really good fit over there.
Hey, as wrestling fans, we should all be super happy about new programs. It just means our sport's growing and it's prospering, and that's what all of us wrestling fans want. And at the end of the day, it's about growing our sport and making it a better place for all these kids that come and do it.
That's why Chris and I are. That's why we're doing this. This is exactly the same thing you just said.
Yep, exactly. Like I said in that when Matt and Ben were here, unfortunately over the years we've seen too many programs, either we lose programs or via co-op we lose schools.
Yep.
Or maybe programs, we still have the schools, we lose the programs. So to see Pillager come on board, and yes, it's fun to see that, and then along with just the growth in the girls.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd say the growth in the girls the last 5 years has been one of the funnest things to watch as a wrestling fan, and getting to see them down at the X and seeing the excitement and the emotions they display down there. Like the sport's in the healthiest place it's ever been in my wrestling career.
Yeah, and I would agree. And I think the girls, by the growth of the girls, is also helping the boys programs.
I think it's a
It's bringing in a whole new audience. It's bringing in, so yes. And I was listening to one of the other podcasts on the JV Takes guys, and they were talking about too the state tournament, and now with the expansion, just some of the things that's been done the last couple of years. Now, apparently going now to double elimination, a full double elimination.
finally.
Finally,
Really, I did not read that.
and so between that, expansion of the girls, one of the things, last year, just simply doing the awards at the end, not having to wait till the
Do 'em
end.
in between,
Do
yeah.
'em just little things like that now too has made the state tournament just awesome. And just like it said, you were saying, hearing new programs, it's really, it's fun. It's really fun right now. It's a fun time to be a wrestling fan, whether it's at the high school level or all the way up to.
Right. Yeah.
What is your favorite wrestling movie?
Oh, Vision Quest.
That's a little before that's more Derek and I's time, but
Oh, I know, but it's
There are a
definitely the
lot of
best
words.
one that I've seen.
yeah, no, it's all good. It's awesome. That was probably the soundtrack from the movie is actually better than the movie itself. If you're a music guy.
Big Matthew Modine fan, man.
How about your go-to pre-match ritual?
I'd say mine's a big it's probably going to change a little bit as the head coach now, but as the assistant coach, my whole pregame thing was making sure kids were loose and excited. Like you always see kids who are nervous, they're pacing, especially when this will be my 10th year in the program. I've known all these guys since they were in third, fourth grade wrestling. So I know them pretty well. And it's pretty obvious when they're feeling nervous because they're getting quiet, they're kicking their feet, they're kind of hiding from everybody. So my biggest pre-match ritual is just coming up, kind of dapping kids up, handshake, and just looking them in the eyes and just, hey, you got this. I believe in you. Your teammates believe in you. Just, you got to believe in yourself. Go out and do your job and things are going to be just fine.
When I was coaching, we had some kids that would get really nervous, and I just always like to tell them a joke.
Yeah.
Yep. I'd say just lighten the mood up as much as you can for them.
Exactly.
It's not life and death, man. It's just a wrestling match. Go out there, do your stuff.
Yep.
Yeah,
Have
exactly.
some fun.
How about your dream dual meet opponent?
I get for this year, there's been a lot of banter on the forums, I'm sure, about this, but I'd love to see Chatfield. Holdingford and Chatfield have not dueled each other at all. Chatfield's got a hell of a program. State runner-up last year, it's team state champs the year before. They've been kind of the class of Class A, in my opinion, in the last 10 years. They always have a solid squad. I really admire their program and what they do. So I would love to have a duel with Chatfield if we ever had the chance.
Yeah, it definitely would settle down the guillotine form.
Somebody's got to stir the pot on there.
So last year at the state tournament, Chris and I got to meet and talk with Logan Brewer and what was the other guy, Witchman or something. They're the JV takes, and they take a lot of shots at Section 7A. So we told them that this year we're gonna probably have to take a lot of shots at Section.
Hey, what goes around comes around. We're all having fun with it. We got to be able to banter with each other.
So yeah, maybe if we talk to them guys, maybe we can get your dream matchup with them, but it might be a little late now. But
yeah, we might have to schedule over a couple of years in advance now. We'll see.
yeah, but
I think, we wanted to keep it kind of that 20 minutes to a half hour. So unless, if there's something, Jamey, we didn't ask that you want to share with us or the wrestling community.
I guess I'm super excited for the year. Like you guys brought up the state tournament and the new format. I think that's great. Like what you brought up before with the reward stands. I'm so glad how they've changed the awards. Like doing it afterwards when everybody would leave the X was doing such an injustice to the kids. So I'm so glad that these kids get to have their moment. They get that spotlight on them. I think it's huge. And that's what we have to keep doing to grow the sport, is letting these athletes have these prime times, putting the spotlight on them. I mean, that's all sports, professional sports, college, high school. It's all about kind of creating some narratives and creating some stories. And we got to give these kids the chance to go out there and shine and write their own story.
Absolutely. I love it.
Yep, I agree.
Well, thanks, Jamey. And again, thanks for bearing with some technology here.
No, you guys, no, I'm honored that you guys have me on, and I'm really grateful.
Yeah, good luck with the season, and tell all your boys good luck, and we'll see you around Section 7A, because Chris and I will be around it. So,
say, if you want to spitball wrestling, just come find me at a tournament. I'm ready to talk.
All righty.
All right, we'll look you up.
Sounds
Perfect.
good.
Thanks, gentlemen.
No,
All right.
No, thank you.
All right, thanks.
Have a good night.
Well, thank you. That was Coach Koetter, the new head coach at Holdingford High School. After we had a little, appreciate him coming on, we had a little technical difficulties early on in trying to get him on.
That's Chris's part of the show.
Yeah, well, like I said, I mean, I'll take that, but at the same time, Derek, the studio's Derek, so.
Yeah. That's why it looks so good.
Yeah.
I was telling my wife watched the episode like probably for a minute this morning, because she's not that she doesn't like wrestling. She's not just a big, and she's like, man, that studio looks nice. I'm like, oh, thanks.
But did she comment about the sound?
No, she didn't. Oh, she didn't. No, Chris is doing a great job.
We're getting there. It's just it's fun to learn and fun to figure out, but just again, just trying to this technology stuff. So anyway, yeah, Coach Koetter, Koetter.
Wow, he's got a lot of energy. I'd like to be a little birdie in that room.
Yeah,
he's
Well, and you think about just what he has in the room and the energy and that they do have in the room with that group of seniors and just the experience that he's got there to work with.
Absolutely, them are outstanding kids that he's going to have in that upper part of the lineup. Yeah, be curious to see if they all end up at the weights that they're getting ranked at.
Yeah, I mean, there's some right now. You kind of looking at the guillotine rankings where at 160 or 160.
Yeah, Patrick and Tappy. That was probably a flip of the coin to see who's number one.
Yeah,
I gotta believe Tappy with maybe number of state finalists is maybe what gave him the edge. I don't know. I mean. If it happens, it's going to be it's going to be a good dual dogfight.
Well, and even throughout the season, it sounds like both Holdingford and Staples Motley are going to be seeing each other.
Right,
might be a handful of times. So
in individual tournaments as well, I'm sure they'll run into each other, and so them kids will get to wrestle each other and
just. I gotta imagine that's a way, too, for both coaches to be able to. We're not going to probably see any of the matchups the same. I mean, at least both teams have been kind of, especially Holdingford. The last couple matchups with Staples Motley have moved some wrestlers around, especially up at the top.
Right.
Staples Motley has kept pretty, wrestled straight up, but at the same time, I'm, looking at this team this year, and there might be a little bit where there's going to be some moving there. So, it's going to be, it's going to be fun to see how they wrestle during the season before they get to the section finals.
Yeah, absolutely.
I guess maybe we're being a little presumptuous in section finals, but ranked 1 and 3 in the state.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to not assume that that's going to be the Section 7A finals.
So it was a fun interview with Coach Koetter. It's fun to get to meet some of these young coaches
and get to know him a little bit. Yeah. That's the first time I had met him.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen him around, but had never technically met him. So
with that, we are going to move on. We have Coach Tate Card from Minnewaska coming up next.
Our second interview, we're heading to Minnewaska to chat with the new head wrestling coach, Tate Card. Welcome, Coach.
Yes,
thanks for having me, guys.
I guess just to jump right in, if you could just tell us a little bit about yourself. I know we talked a little bit before you got some background at Hutchinson and Bemidji, so just fill the listening audience in on that.
Yeah, so in terms of head coaching, I might be a pretty young head coach. I graduated high school in 2019 from Hutchinson High, and um, while I was in high school there, I only had one trip to the state tournament, but loved wrestling my whole life and battled a couple injuries along the way. My junior and senior season, and right after that, I was kind of thinking, what can I do more with wrestling if I'm not going to compete? And I thought, what better place to take it other than the coaching world? So when I decided to do some studying up at Bemidji State University, I reached out to the head wrestling coach. It was Rance Barr at the time, and he said, "We'd love to have you helping out." So I did a whole bunch of help with the youth program and the middle school program there, and kind of a workout partner with some of the varsity guys every once in a while, and kind of where I got my feet wet coaching. And then after I graduated college, doing the whole job search thing, and ran into a teaching job at Minnewaska, and met Mr. Rankin there. And I've been an assistant coach for the last 2 seasons, and now I'm starting my first year as a head coach. So,
All right. Well, how did this all come about to even to become the head coach? Did
well,
Chip did Chip was he planning on leaving, or what? I mean, what was the deal there?
Well, Chip is an awesome guy. I've got to know Chip pretty well over the last couple of years, and it's kind of funny because Chip and my dad actually coached together on a Minnesota national dual team. I don't even know how many years ago, but so my dad actually knew Chip a little bit, and when he found out that I was applying at Minnewaska for teaching, I think he was getting a little excited that he's getting a wrestling guy to come there. And the first 2 seasons as an assistant coach, I'm doing everything in my power to try and build the program up as best I could. And last year, uh, he kind of pulled me aside, and before our banquet, he's like, "This is it. I found my replacement." And he said he's been waiting to find the right person for the job that wants to go all 110% into wrestling, and he felt like I was a good fit for it, and kind of just fell right into my lap for this year. So
All right. So he wasn't going to leave until he found the right replacement. That's
exactly.
what you're saying. Nice.
Well, and I think about, you mentioned just two names there in Chip, obviously, and Rance
Rant.
Barr. And, in my 28 years of reffing, I will say that, I can say it now that I'm long retired from reffing, but I will say that both those two are two of my favorite head coaches. So,
Well, I think during our discussions about doing this, I think about every other time we talked, Rance Barr's name would come up.
And
Just whatever in conversation. Yeah.
and we haven't talked to him about doing this yet.
Yeah.
But
We got to get Rance on the show.
yeah. So when I think about who you've kind of learned and mentored under, I mean, two great guys there.
Guess what? And now that you're the head coach, I guess what's the biggest change that you're hoping to bring to the program?
I don't necessarily want to say that there's a huge change that I want to make, because the last 2 seasons being a part of the program already, I felt like we've had a really awesome thing going to begin with. But uh, as far as change goes, my job as, or I guess what I feel like my job is as a little bit younger head coach, is to try and pick up that intensity, and what can we do to bring our team to the next level. We've been really competitive. Some of the history of Minnewaska, they've had some really competitive teams over the years, and one of the things that they just haven't quite been able to do is crack that state team tournament. And I mean, you got to let the kids do their thing, but that's what I want to do, right? That's the ultimate goal, is to try and get that team to the state tournament. So that's what I'm striving for. But as far as change in the practice room, there isn't really a ton. Just doing everything in my power to try and make that impossible happen.
Well, just kind of looking at, through your team, I see you have a couple young guys that are ranked, and what you had a state runner up last season, correct?
Correct. Yep. We had Miles Wildman was a runner up last year at 121 pounds and super competitive. He's only a junior this year, so it's pretty awesome having a kid like that in the room that's multiple time state place winner and we still get to have him around for a little bit. So
Yeah. So it's a good, it's a good start, a good thing to jump into with having that experience in the room. I would imagine.
Yeah. What's your senior leadership look like as far as upperclassmen?
yeah, so it's kind of just been this, in my opinion, it's kind of an odd dynamic we've had the last couple seasons. We have not had very big senior classes the previous 2 seasons, and last year we only graduated two seniors. So this year we've got a handful of seniors. I think probably 6 different seniors, and quite honestly, only only one of those seniors has a bunch of varsity experience. So even though we have a few more seniors on the team, it's not like um, they still don't have a ton of varsity experience. And that leadership they bring, though, it's been super awesome. We just had our first, finishing up our first week of practice this week, and it's been really awesome to see some of those guys that we've got 2 seniors that didn't come out for wrestling. I think this will be their 3rd season. So, they're relatively new, but I mean, they're vocal. They're getting the younger guys involved and they're getting after it, even though they haven't been wrestling their whole life, which is super awesome to see too. So,
Nice. They're kind of stepping up to the plate.
100%.
Yes, nice.
Yeah, cool. Well, with that, what do you I mean, just as far as your vision, what's the culture that you're hoping to build in your wrestling room?
Yeah. So every time that someone talks to me about culture, the first thing that really comes to my mind is family. And we have a very good culture in our practice room right now. One of the better leaders in our room. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar, but his name is Riley Spindler. He's a junior this year for us. He hasn't wrestled a varsity match for us. He's a blind wrestler. He's been with us for quite a few years, and he's one of the best leaders we have in the room. And having a guy like Riley in our room just brings everyone closer together. And we've really kind of built that. There's a sense of respect, accountability, and all of that stuff that's just spreads throughout our room because of that. And our culture is sitting really good right now.
So, is Riley? Is he going to see some varsity match time, or are you?
I'm certainly hoping he gets a few varsity matches in this year. I know he'd be up to the test.
Awesome.
What weight does he wrestle at?
I want to say he's sitting right around probably 139.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit lighter than that, but probably right around 139 is where he's at. So
Okay. Yeah. So like what's your numbers like is it a 7 through 12 or 9 through 12 or?
yep. So we do have a 7-12 program, which in my mind there's benefits and there's cons to that, as well. But I think we're sitting right around 45 kids, 7 through 12, 45 to 50, kind of depends on. Um, there's always some late people that sign up. They got the 3rd Monday of the season or whatever. So we'll probably have a few more, but sitting right around 45 right now.
Okay. All right. And then do you have a girls program?
So we're starting.
Okay.
Last year was our first year that we had any girls wrestlers, which I thought was phenomenal. We had 7 girl wrestlers last year for our first season, having girls. So, and still trying to get a few more to come out. We lost one. She got hurt a little bit last year, and I think kind of scared her away. But we're sitting at 6 right now that are in the program. practicing, and the goal is to kind of get to 10 for that. So,
Okay, and you are designated as their head coach as well?
um, yes, we've kind of got I got myself and two other assistant coaches. We kind of cover everything between the three of us, and then you'll probably love to hear that even though Mr. Rankin's retired, one of his daughters is actually wrestling for us,
Hmm.
I was gonna ask
and
if he was gonna stick around in an assistant role, but he's not?
um, he's volunteer coaching this
Okay,
year.
alright, so he will
So
be still around.
yeah, he'll
That's
be
good to hear.
around, and one of his daughters is wrestling. He's got an even younger daughter that I think wants to, but we'll see what she decides here. So
One of the things I think it's important to ask, and that is, obviously we measure the success so often by wins and losses and that kind of thing. How far you got in the sections or state, but um, how do you beyond the wins and losses? How do you measure success?
yeah, so to me, success. Obviously, I'm a teacher as well, so success comes in many different forms. And my goal as a teacher and as a coach is not to win the most matches that you can win. It's to become the best person that you can be. And I feel like success to me is, am I creating a more resilient, hardworking, all around good human being by the end of this process in the wrestling room? That's my goal. And hopefully one of the byproducts is they win a state title along the way, right? I mean, uh, that's my definition of success is, are you going to contribute positively to our society? Because we have so much negativity around us. It's, to me, that's the most important thing. And the win loss record is just a number that people can look back to if they want.
I
So
think that's the great thing about wrestling. I think, I coached for years too, and I think that, some of the best success stories are kids that, didn't necessarily win or lose or win very many matches. It's
Yeah.
just how they turned out in the end.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody here not long ago about doing this podcast, and one of the suggestions was, a lot of times we think about kids that the former wrestlers that we remember are those that win, that are on the podium down at, I guess, well, we can call it the X because they were on the podium at the X, but um, and he suggested, there's a lot of success stories
Absolutely.
out there of wrestlers that they weren't the best wrestlers. They didn't win 40, 30 matches, but they because of what they learned in the wrestling room and from the sport of wrestling, they attained some success, and that we should consider reaching out to some of those and bringing those on as part of the podcast. So we've kind of chatted a little bit about that, but that's what part of what we want to do too, is kind of not share just the stories of success when it comes to wins and losses, but how we that success in life. So
Yeah. So we talk about your schedule a little bit. I mean, what dual meets or what tournaments do you kind of got like circled on your calendar that these are big matches or?
well, I've always kind of just been the philosophy of the biggest match is the next one. So, we haven't wrestled a match yet. So our first match on the schedule is December 4th. We've got a try against Little Falls and Bold, and I forget who we wrestled first that night, but to me, that's the biggest match, right?
Okay.
Is the next one you got. But
yep.
I guess looking ahead, bigger scale tournament I always look forward to is, it used to be the Big Bear, but now the Jackhammer tournament. That's always a fun one to go to, and you get to soak up there's so much great wrestling that happens at that tournament. It's just a fun one to watch, and obviously coach at too. So.
Who is Minnewaska's like a big rival?
Um, I feel like it's pretty tough not to compete with, at least in the sport of wrestling. I feel like our biggest rival is Alexandria. They're our neighbor. They're the bigger school compared to us, and anytime we can pick a win off of Alexandria, that's kind of
And you
a good
beat
one
them in
for
the
us.
section last year, right?
Yep, correct. So I got to beat them in the section tournament. That was an awesome duel. I mean, the crowd was just packed and loud, and it was awesome.
Yeah. So did you get in on creating your schedule, or were you hired too late, or what was the main input
So
on that?
I guess when it comes to schedule creation, that's one of the things that it's a love hate relationship with wrestling coaches and ads, because other sports they got a set schedule, and that's who they play. And wrestling, we can kind of pick and choose and where you want to go to and that sort of thing. And um, I've been able to pick a few tournaments out here and there, but we have a lot of repeat tournaments from the past couple seasons. I felt like it's just been a really productive schedule for us. Um, not wrestling a ton of matches before Christmas, and then kind of loading the schedule up a little bit more afterwards. I feel like, one of the things that Chip and Mr. Rankin has taught me is that November, December is where you learn how to wrestle, and January, February is where you learn how to compete, sort of
Yeah.
thing. So,
Long
um,
season.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. The reason I was asking too is are you gonna get to wrestle against your dad?
Well, I have
Hutchinson
tried
Hutchinson?
to get that on the schedule, and we were not able to make a date work this year. And
Yeah.
I didn't know if you guys were going to ask this question later, but to me, that'd be one of my dream duel scenarios for sure.
All right.
Uh,
Well, there it is. Okay.
is
Well, then make sure you get that on the schedule next year.
so yeah. I did get to coach against my dad 2 years ago, but it wasn't I wasn't a head coach. I was just kind of assistant, but the head to head would be pretty sweet.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah, your mom's gonna have to have one of them jerseys that's got split half and half, huh?
Yep, for sure.
Um, and just for maybe the listening audience too, we were talking before we came on. Nate's dad, Todd, who's the head coach at Hutchinson. Both Derek and I went to high school with him too. So, back a long time ago. Just a question we were talking about here before we came on is Minnewaska. What, Glenwood, Starbuck? What am I missing? What else? Is there other communities involved there?
Yep. So it's the main three that make up the school is Glenwood, Starbuck, and Villard. And then we do pull a few kids from Lowry as well, a neighboring community that's pretty close. So
Sure. Just kind of one piece of advice to a first year wrestler. What would that be?
yeah, so I've actually kind of shared this advice throughout this week already. I got a couple new kids into the room, and it can be a lot, especially with a 7-12 program. We got some kids that are coming into a varsity practice room that have never had a practice before. And to me, the best piece of advice is to be a sponge. And whether that's listening or actually drilling, I feel like the biggest thing that we've gotten with technology over the years is film. You can find just about anything and everything you want on YouTube. And I created a Google Classroom for my kids, and post YouTube videos on there that I find, and they can watch these videos over and over and over. And it's those mental reps are just as important as the physical reps. So, be a sponge and ask questions, and don't be afraid to just try something.
Yeah, and it is. I like to hear that. You just go to Flow Wrestling and you could sit and watch videos all day long on technique and all that. Yeah, there's definitely the resources out there that we didn't have
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
growing up.
We
So
had the VHS tape, yeah. Yeah. So do you find yourself doing a little recruiting since you're a teacher? Do you kind of like, hey, you should maybe try wrestling?
Yeah, I think some of the kids get annoyed a little bit too much. They've even called me out on it, saying, "What are you, a recruiter?" And well, the answer is yeah.
Absolutely.
Exactly, absolutely. I'm trying to get as many people out to experience wrestling as I can, and uh, my my advice to them or my sales pitch to them is always, I don't care if you win a bunch of matches or if you make the varsity team or not. I just want you to, try something. I feel like there's a lot of kids that just aren't playing sports anymore. They're, lifting's huge, and I encourage people to lift and work out, but it's not quite the same as wrestling, right? It's a whole different experience. So
Does Minnewaska have a hockey program?
we do not, which I'm thankful for.
Right.
Yeah,
So
well, that makes it. That's
Yeah. Do they have swimming?
we have girls swimming. We do not have boys.
Okay, which is a
swimming.
fall sport, right?
Yep.
yeah.
Boys is a winter sport.
So yeah,
Yep.
you're the only just wrestling and basketball then for your winter
Wrestling and
sports for boys?
basketball. Yep. So I always try to convince the basketball players that if you can't make those 3-pointers, maybe we can teach you how to score a different kind of 3-point
Right,
takedown or something.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're the 12th one on the bench, you're probably not going to play much. So, yeah.
Well, Derek,
Yeah. Is there anything you wanted to touch on that we really didn't bring up or?
I guess for me, the biggest thing that we haven't touched on yet is like the community engagement thing. This community is amazing. Not being from the Minnewaska area and just kind of, being the new face around here, I've seen nothing but support from everyone at the school, community. And then a huge shout out to my booster club. They are awesome. The amount of work that they put in, helping fundraise and provide things for our kids. We try to take a coach bus once a year. We try to do a team camp in the summer, and the booster club helps out with all that stuff, and they are phenomenal. So I really couldn't be happier with the community we have around wrestling here at Minnewaska.
and that's good to hear. It's always fun to know that your community supporting, and again, like you mentioned earlier, Minnewaska, and I'm even going to go back again, maybe more to my day, your dad's day, when they were separate schools, like Glenwood and Starbuck. They had. I remember some successful.
Always some good kids from them schools.
A couple of the Hershey's are over there too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I had that, you mentioned the wrestling against your dad and Hutchinson as that dream duel. That was one of our rapid fire questions. I'm just going to ask you maybe a couple other ones. Do you have a favorite wrestling movie?
A favorite wrestling movie? Probably not, other than oh crap. I can't even remember the name. I haven't seen it in so long.
Probably Vision Quest, right?
100%. That's what it is.
That's what Koetter said too.
Yeah. Although
in our last interview.
it's
I just
it's not a movie that we can recommend
like
to
the
our
80s music that your generation listens to too. So they're still listening to and watching the movies as well. So
yeah. No, that's a great movie. Something that we can't quite show or don't want to encourage to show the kids quite yet, but no, it's a great movie.
yeah. How about a go-to pre-match ritual?
I guess pre-match rituals as it's kind of changed a little bit as a coach, but my go-to as a wrestler, I love jumping rope. And I feel like that's, get that quick twitch thing going. But I've kind of transitioned over to those mental reps. I feel like um, you know, some people might call it meditation or whatever it is, but just kind of relax, take a couple deep breaths, close your eyes, and envision how you want your match to go, and take some of those mental reps. That's one of my favorite things to do before a match.
Cool.
Yeah. Good. Visualize what you're
Yeah.
going to do.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, again, thanks for joining us. That was kind of what we were looking for, keep it 20, 25 minutes. But yeah, so with that, I guess, thanks again. And good luck on the season.
Good luck to you and your team. And and hopefully have some.
Well, maybe, what Derek and I are talking about, we'll probably be maybe up at the Jackhammer.
Yeah, it's just right in our backyard here, so
maybe we'll see you there.
Yeah.
That would be great, guys. Thanks.
All right. And
All right.
Yeah. Thanks, Tate. So, Tate Card, Minnewaska High School. Young man getting into the coaching ranks. That's, again, like I had said about Jamey, and just it's fun to see
those young guys.
Guys.
Yeah, I probably admired more than anything was his mustache.
Yeah.
I thought he looked pretty good.
He looked pretty good. Now he's gonna probably tell you that it was some fundraiser or a program at school, but
right. Yeah, he joked towards the end there after we were done that 2 days ago he had handlebars and sideburns, and he had to at least shave some of it before he could come on the show.
Yeah, it was a fun conversation. Another thing we talked a little bit about was he mentioned as we were signing off that he was surprised we didn't ask about his favorite move, and his family being the Staples and Staples Motley family that.
Right. Yeah. The Cards had pretty deep roots in the Staples area,
and the Cradle.
And the Cradle. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes.
So.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so it'll be fun to see him and see how he does with his team. It sounds like he's got a young team. He had some older kids, but not much experience with the older kids. The underclassmen seemed like they were more of his better wrestlers.
And Minnewaska has like we said during the interview, has a rich history over that way.
Absolutely.
So he'll be fine. And I found it interesting that it's a larger school than it's a AA school, and they just have basketball and wrestling.
And wrestling, not swimming. I was surprised they didn't have swimming. Yeah. And the number of kids, I mean, they pretty much, that's what Class A schools are having is 40, 45 kids.
Yep.
Yeah. So
hopefully him being in the school and young guy, an energetic guy that sounds like he's already got a reputation of being a recruiter. So.
Right. Trying to recruit kids in the hallways is what you got to do. You got to say, hey, you get over here. You're going to wrestle.
Yep.
So.
Okay. Well, I think, we'll wrap it up for the night. So unless you got anything else, Derek.
Well, I appreciate Coach Koetter and Coach Card for joining us. They're two first-year head coaches ready to put their stamp on Minnesota wrestling.
Yeah. So with that, stay strong and moving forward now. We'll see you, Matt Side.
Till next time.